Welcome back to the farm, everyone. Chickens, I don't have anything to offer you. A little bit chaotic this morning. This is who I'm looking for. I'm buying favors, voodoo powers from a black cat, so we can have a big day today. Treat me well. I think the purr is a good thing. A little bit of dew this morning. Grass is also getting tall. Need to get that taken care of one of these days. Murphy, will you be a darling and mow the yard while I'm gone? Thank you. Time to turn some wrenches first thing in the morning. Get these cutter bars up to snuff to run a big day today. I've already called in the help of the black cat, so nothing can go wrong, right? Oh, wow. I've already jinxed us. This is Katie's draper, missing 3 fingers that I can see and pop the door off. Had to have been a rock that did that. Pretty much everything we cut yesterday was our lowest productivity acres. This field we're in right now made mid-50s. There's a sickle section that needs replaced, and I think we should be on the way up from here. This should be the bottom of the valley in terms of yield. We're going to get off of drought-stressed acres and go back to higher productivity soils that are prone to water issues. So that'll be our next problem. Oh well. Just gotta roll with the punches, as they say. We should count our blessings. If there's only one sickle and no guards broken after cutting the fields that they cut yesterday, that's good. Here's the old one. Here's the new one. You can tell this one's the new one because it doesn't look like the old one. I'm gonna dump the rock trap to make sure whatever did that is out of the feeder house. Check the oil and then start this up and run it. Get these facing backwards, and I'm gonna set the head down because it's easier to work on it if they're around. Dad's over there working on the other draper. It's bigger, he covers more acres, probably more prone to breaking sickles. You go across more ground, you see more rocks. It's pretty simple math. Might as well get that out of the way in the morning, jeez. Shout out to Pioneer for this nice Z-Series soybean sweatshirt. Only gonna need it for another 5 minutes because the sun's coming up. It was cold this morning and I think it's gonna get warm this afternoon. That's fall for you. Hydraulic oil's a little low. I need to put the feeder house down to see that. We'll check that in a minute. Plenty of engine oil. This is the field we cut last night. Couldn't see anything and the beans only made 55 or 56. Plenty of rocks though, as you can tell. It's already time to lose the sweatshirt. That did not take long. Whew, that was PG-13 there for a minute. Cut that part out. The sunshine's a good sign for cutting soybeans. Should be able to start here in the next few hours if we can find some that are ready. Open up the hopper so we can run the machine. Where are you at? Hello? Oh, there you are. Good morning. Normally we'd let the combine warm up a little bit, but I'm just trying to rotate the head around, so shouldn't be an issue. I'm gonna set the head on the ground now, unhook it from the combine because it's pretty easy to work on that center drum when it's down.
What are you working on, this?
Yeah, there's 5 teeth missing on it.
5 of these?
Yes, all in the center. Probably the same thing that bent that door off.
How many of those do we have?
I wonder if I should hammer that first. It's not really a whole lot holding it on. These fingers right here oscillate around, retract to come back out, and throw the crop into the feeder house of the combine. If you catch a rock, you'll break these fingers off. It's about time to replace this one, Dad.
The door?
Yeah.
Go get one while you do that? That's what the inside looks like. These teeth all move around on this bar. You see the ones that broke off, they're inside. I don't know if I'll be able to reuse them or not. I'll just have to look. Might as well start by taking inventory. Oh wow. That's chewed up. You can tell which ones are broken. Tooth is good. Collar probably needs replaced. Dad was running to Sloan's to get some parts anyways, so I may call him and have him get some more of the Palmer collars that hold these on. Holy cow. Look at that. That's just from running around in there yesterday afternoon. It wore that hole quickly.
Hello?
I'm gonna need at least 4 of the Palmer collars that attach to the main shaft.
The plastic thing?
Yeah, it looks like I've only got 1.
So do you need 4 of them or 1 of them?
Well, I
3
need
of them?
I need at least 3 of them. We'll start with the easy one. See? That's an easy one. The collar is still inside there. It can be reused, but this has got to go. Got a train. Oh wow, 3 cars. Huh. On the farm and life in general, there's certain degrees of up things can be. Some things can be messed up, some things can be screwed up, and the degree to which this thing is upped, I can't say on YouTube. Kids and people who don't practice curse words would not appreciate what I would describe this as. It's not good. It starts with an F. I've done all I can do without the extra parts. We don't normally break these collars. We only had 1 extra, so Dad should have those back in a few minutes. That's my scrap pile. These are all either new fingers. There's an old finger. I'm probably getting rid of that. Sometimes you can lose one of these in here and just not notice it, depending on how it's positioned, and it can just snowball over the next couple days of cutting. Or 1 rock could have gone through this center drum on the outside and just completely upped it. It's the best way I can put it. Dad should be here with parts. We'll get her back together. Dad just showed up with parts. I'm gonna help him unhook his head real quick. He's gonna take his combine for fuel, and then I'm gonna finish my project. Dad's taking the big machine for fuel. It's just us now, alone with our thoughts. It's kind of scary if you think about it. I'd like to come out here and run the inline ripper pretty deep to try to break up compaction on a farm like this. Between the highly erodible topography and the rocks, I don't know if that's a good idea. Not even sure if an inline ripper can be used legally or technically on an HEL farm, which means highly erodible land. Some of these you can tell have had their interactions. They got nicks and bruises all over them from something. Sometimes they even have green paint. That's expensive. Oh, we got another train. Oh, darn it, it's an Amtrak. When are we gonna get something exciting for the train people out here? There goes 45 minutes I'm not getting back. I think I put on 4, maybe 5 new teeth. This should run us hopefully through the rest of harvest unless we hit another big patch of rocks or something. I really don't know what happened in here. It's not really the operator's fault. You can't tell if that happens. If you run a rock through, you reverse it out, you don't always see your teeth are missing, or if one tooth comes out and then just goes crazy on the inside, could knock the other ones out. Stuff breaks. That's part of life, part of farming. I probably ought to get my flashlight. I don't know if it would survive a day in there. We're getting real ritzy here. New door finally. 10 years later, getting a new one. I'm just gonna go look at the other one. Maybe put that on upside down. Yeah, I did. Thought I was smarter than I actually am. Sometimes you gotta do things twice to figure it out. That makes a lot more sense that way. Where'd you sneak up from?
Sneaky, sneaky. What did I tear up?
Quite a lot.
Did I really?
A bunch of fingers.
You done?
Just finishing up. I haven't put hydraulic oil in yet. Dad and Katie showed up right as I was finishing up this project. Dad put the hydraulic oil in. I think we're gonna go ahead and move this machine to the fuel tank. Should be ready to roll, at least for another day or two. Unless Katie runs more rocks through.
Did you undo my rock trap?
I did, yeah. There wasn't any rocks in the rock trap, surprisingly.
Shocking.
Did you back feed any of them out? Like, did you catch any rocks? Could have happened the other day, and we never noticed there was fingers out.
It's a bad day when you lose a finger.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
Was he waving at me or you?
I have no idea. He's probably telling you to put your head on the trailer.
Like waving his arms, like stop.
That was the wave your arms violently to close the grain tank motion. That's not in the manual? I'm not entirely sure what I'm supposed to do. I think I've already put in my 2 hours for the day, so I may go take a nap. Every good day has a nap in it. We've got about 250 acres left in this area. That should cut, and the boss is calling me right now. Yellow.
How many bushel are on there?
300.
Okay, bye.
He was wanting to know about the remainder on the cart from the last field. Switching fields, different ownership, so we got to make sure everyone gets their bushels accounted for fairly. We're just not going to send a truck to the elevator with 300 bushel of beans for the sake of record keeping. We'll switch it over later manually. This is a Field Pioneer 34 A98s, I believe. They look like they'd cut, so we'll have a busy day. We're not moving there now. Maybe 3 fields from now if we get that far. Uh-oh, looks like we're not the only farmer in the neighborhood cutting beans. There's Chris Heller. Those beans have looked good all year. He put in a full tile pattern earlier. I'm sure they'll yield better than ours. Geez, it's gonna be busy around here. Here comes Katie for fuel. There's the Uphoffs cutting beans already this morning. Dad's hooking up the big combine over there. Hopefully we knock some stuff out. Got the weather for it. I think we got a little party here in Paradise this morning. Okay, help Dad get hooked up. I think we're late to the show, seeing as 2 other machines nearby are already running. Time to fly. Uphoffs are also putting theirs in the bin, so they can start a little wetter. We're going to the elevator.
Know what's going on, so check with Andy.
That was my grandpa and uncle cutting yesterday, across from their main farm.
Chris is helping me.
Speaking of the man, the myth, the legend himself, there's my grandpa ahead of me with his combine. Now I know that my tractor is probably 10 miles an hour faster than his combine. And out of respect, I'm just going to take my time behind and deal with the repercussions from the full X9 back at the other field when I get there. My grandpa Jim, who's my mom's dad, farms in this area all around us in a lot of spots. You've heard me talk about him. He's been farming a long time. As a matter of fact, we just celebrated his 90th birthday this past weekend, which is quite the achievement, quite the milestone. He's definitely someone whose work ethic and perseverance we can all look up to. Him and my grandma are very special people, hardworking, a little bit ornery at times. That's more my grandma than him. You've just got to appreciate that generation of individuals in this country. They were built different. They're hardworking, they're gritty, different than people nowadays. I think he'd kick my butt still, honestly. I assume we're going to roughly the same area, so I'll just block traffic for him. Don't have to pull over if no one comes up behind. Dad just radioed, he thinks our beans need another hour. That's why it's nice that Uphoffs are loading in the bin. My grandpa and uncle are probably loaded in the bin, so if they want to start, if they're 15, 16%, they probably can. After an hour of piddling around and waiting for the beans to dry, we are finally hitting it full speed. They're running 13 to 14% still. A lot of water damage in this field, which you'll see if I fire up the old drone. And there's a ton of neighbors cutting soybeans in the area. So if everyone else is doing it, you might as well do it too. It's pretty easy to tell where there's damage. It's really green out there. The beans are a little wetter. They just don't mature correctly, and the yield is way off. I'd hate to even look at the yield monitor in that spot. I'm sure it's pretty low. 10 bushel maybe, 20 bushel an acre. That might be generous. The Uphoff boys across the road are getting a lot more done than us. Adding insult to injury is the fact that we're kind of having to cut around some of these green spots because they're too wet to harvest. So we got to carve out spots of the field and come back for them either later today or a completely different day. This approach is probably going to kill our productivity on a field that should be productive. It's 120 plus acres square. Gotta do what you gotta do, at least we're harvesting.
These over here are 12 on the hill, and down the low they're 15. We'll see how that works out.
I've got one of my favorite passengers here today. Lenny, how was school this morning?
No.
Did you have show and tell? What did you bring for show and tell?
A bumblebee?
A bumblebee?
A cotton bee.
Buzz?
Yeah, Buzz.
Yeah. He's got his red shirt on, like Grandpa Mort, looking good.
Oh. Couple boots.
Oh yeah, you got your boots? What's on your boots? Dinosaurs? Wow! That's awesome.
Thanks.
So far, these soybeans are surprisingly good where the water didn't kill them.
It isn't on the outside.
Yeah, some of it's on the outside.
Okay, I cleaned it. I'm going to clean that back with them.
Sure, let's do it.
Him? Oh no, that was the outside one auto.
All the dirt's on the outside?
No, it didn't. You name it ended on the outside. Then the inside. I can't look at looking. Look at that crack.
There's a crack on the window?
Look at it.
Oh no, you better fix it. Lenny's our service guy. He's already fixed the air conditioning and my computer wasn't working, he said. And now the window's fixed. High five.
One more problem.
Oh, now you're just trying to find problems so you get paid.
Another problem.
1-6.
Mom, look at that. It's broken.
That actually is
real green spot.
After all that hard work, he's requesting a nap. We've also eaten all of our snacks in a pretty short amount of time since he's been dropped off. I think we're related. This field's been a real challenge for us. The water damage is so sporadic and spread out through the field, it's impossible to maintain a uniform moisture. Like Dad just radioed, that spot's 16%. That's too wet to take the elevator, so it's a matter of, do they blend out correctly with the rest of them and not get you docked a ton? Do you leave them and come back in a few days and hope they're more mature? It's kind of a hard decision to make. What are you engineering up right now? Lenny told me a little bit ago he wants to be a robot farmer.
I don't need a robot farmer. I will tell you what the robot farmer is.
You want to show me what the robot farmer is?
Okay, sorry. That would be.
Are you taping yourself to the turn lights?
This looks like a robot. Boop, bop. This is a hangout window. All touch robot all up. Like this robot. Like me, I'm a robot. I was busy jumping.
We don't have any more money or time to fix things today. I talked to your black kitty this morning. She was going to grant us good luck all day.
All day?
Yeah, I know. That's asking a lot, isn't it?
All day, all morning, Lorna.
Well, morning's over. Hopefully you've got some tape left over. I think Mort's combine might need some tape on it.
I don't have any tape.
Rotor.
He said he slugged the rotor.
Oh.
Try this again. Okay, take two. Didn't like that. I've been warned by numerous people that the X9 does not like green-stemmed crops like soybeans. There is a limit. It does exist, and Marty found it, and we're trying to unfind it now. in my commentary on the difficulty of cutting water-damaged soybeans. When 2/3 of the field is 11% and you try to cut through a spot that's obviously way too wet, you run the risk of plugging your machine. It looked like it got all the beans out, which is impressive. It just didn't get all the material out. It took Dad and I probably 15 to 20 minutes to dig all that out. It was in between the discharge beater and the chopper. I think the chopper is where the issue started. Just a lot of moisture in that pile from these green stem beans. It is what it is. Not taking any more questions on that one. I'll plead the fifth. I do think that I need to go have a conversation with that black cat, because whatever I said to her this morning did not help us. Don't be alarmed. Lenny is back safe and sound with his mother. Katie took him in the combine over to her so she could dump, and then my wife was there at the edge of the field to take him home. Just perfect timing, really. You got to witness the family chaos of unplugging a plugged combine. Dad made it a whole 100 yards, and he thinks he either ran something through the combine or something important broke. Then it's got to be the feed accelerator. Let her down. Yep. There's your problem. That's inconvenient.
How are we gonna get that out of there?
I think we'd almost be better off taking the shroud off.
This only has 2.
If you think we can get it that way.
I don't know how we can get it.
Is it moving? Yep, I'm up. I don't even see mine.
Okay, now it comes up. Now can you find the bar?
Well, don't drop it on me, I'll go rogue.
Wait till Jeff comes around and... God, you're gonna be awful.
Too late for that.
What am I gonna do?
We just gotta hold this up.
Now can you see it?
Well, don't push down on it.
I'm using it for leverage.
It's loose.
Is it moving in?
Here, hold a minute.
It's not
Here,
ready.
look, it's coming out. It was.
Need to turn it?
I'm trying to feel it out. It is bent into the rotor. I can't even get to the end of it.
It's sticking out. How far is it sticking out?
18 inches.
Okay, get out of there.
How did that end up in there through the front of the head?
It made it through. That's amazing that made that through the feeder house. It doesn't look like a piece of the combine. It's too rusty.
Well, you gotta take all these off. You wanna put this back on so the bolts don't fall down in there?
Can. Or just slide it down.
You're gonna have to take them all out and loosen them.
He's got a blower, so take the stuff off of him.
That's up to you. We gotta put the shield back on.
Here, put that.
We were able to finagle the steel bar out. Definitely came from the field. Don't know if it got drug up with the tile plow or just junk from the oil wells years ago. Didn't have to do anything crazy, just unbolt the rotor dust cover. Except for now we've got a gaping hole. I don't want to hear the comments either. I don't think that would have gone through a Case AF11. It would have been broken down before this anyways. I'm just teasing. It's probably a beast of a machine. I'd love to see one in action. This has just been bad luck, I guess, unless this had something to do with the machine plugging earlier, which I find unlikely. Probably a separate issue, just happened to occur in very close proximity to the first issue. It's twice today Dad's plugged the machine. I know one thing. I really gotta go talk to that cat. I don't know what I messed up. Should have rubbed her belly more or something. She's putting that voodoo curse on this combine right now. There's the rod. Look at that.
It's just laying in the field.
Been its way through the feeder house. Got jammed between the feed accelerator and the rotor. Shot out the cover.
shook his head, so something's still broken. Didn't make a horrific noise, but the horrific noise we heard before was probably part of the steel rod and something else being broken. What's it saying?
Left cylinder speed. It's not reading. Misaligned.
Not picking up any rotor speed on the left side. Think she's dead.
Dead is a bit dramatic. It's just broken, and I don't know that that's something we know how to fix ourselves. So that's a service call. Dad has switched over to the second combine. He's going to go open up the field next door. You want to talk about an unproductive day. Trying to blend off dry and wet beans because of water damage, failing to do so, slugging the big combine, unplugging the big combine, and then immediately running a steel post through it. Jacob Hoff was next door, and he kindly brought a blower off for us to blow off the feeder house after we were halfway into the project, so it didn't get so dusty. Appreciate that. I told him that we threw that steel post on his side of the property line on purpose. He wasn't supposed to throw it back, but I guess they did. Neighbors, what are you gonna do with them? That's not my truck, that's Up Hoff's, heading to their next field. They got a lot done compared to us. To be honest with you, I'm ready for today to be over and be back home with my wife and kids. That sounds better than fixing all the problems we've created. We didn't even finish the last field. I can't tell you what it made. Some stuff didn't even go on the cart. It got a little hectic there, and we had to leave quite a bit out in the field. They at least made 50 bushel an acre at this point. Anything that we cut after that just raises the total. Dad's combine was showing 70. Even if those are in the upper 60s, I'd be shocked. That was a Pioneer 31A73. I always get that number wrong, so if I did, I'll correct it on the video. And then the new Pioneer 32Z series bean. Really good beans. Where they weren't water damaged, those were 80 to 90 bushel beans on phenomenal ground. Just a third of the field was water damaged, and you can see this field's also got some water damage. Nothing you can do when it rains 7, 8, 9 inches in 7 days in June or July. That's a hurricane for you. At least with two machines, one machine can keep going till it finds a metal rod to harvest. I have so much bean dust on my face, in my nose, in my mouth, and down my throat that I actually feel like I need to throw up. That's how bad it is. I'm gonna need a very long shower tonight. I've yet to make it for a week without showering. So far my record is 1 day. It's like 24 hours. Maybe someday the stars will align, I can accomplish the 7 days without a shower streak. Today is not the day that's starting, I can tell you already. What's the moisture on these beans, Katie?
Those were like 11.6 going through the field.
When your machine alerts on John Deere Operations Center look like this, you know it was not a good day. Engine speed extremely low, left threshing speed 0, left and right 0. Whew. Since it's after hours, we've been doing some research on what could be wrong with the X9 rotor. It has 2 rotors, and initially after we freed the blockage, it said the left rotor wasn't spinning. I talked to someone that has familiarity with these machines, and they said the most likely culprit is some kind of shaft behind that serves as kind of the shearing device. These are directly driven rotors, they're not belt driven, so instead of ruining a belt, this shaft breaks as your point of failure as opposed to snapping your rotor or ruining your machine elsewhere. And I guess the rod we ran through was enough to do that. And then he also said that it's most likely not timed up right anymore either, because if it was plugged, one rotor was probably spinning while the other one wasn't, and these things are supposed to be timed 90 degrees off or a quarter turn off of each other for efficiency. I couldn't answer that. That'll be a project for the morning, and maybe not for us. That could be a Sloan's call, probably. I think we're at the end of our wits with this right now. It's not really the combine's fault. It's not made to process steel. Here goes one of those pesky coyotes, and he's got some kind of dinner thanks to our combine. Chased a rabbit out of the field or something. Glad someone's getting something done tonight. I just loaded what I believe will be the last one of the night. These beans are a lot drier, sample's better. There's a little water damage out here. It's just a lot easier to cut and blend
a 1/10 of an acre here, 1/4 of an acre here, it averages out fine. When you've got fields like the last one where there's a 15-acre pond and a 10-acre pond that's 20%, it's nearly impossible to do it effectively and fairly to you and fair to the elevator. So we left some in the last field. Probably gonna have to shut down here soon just because we're running out of spirits, to be honest, after today, and the beans are getting a little tough. I just finished what you have left, Katie, and then we'll put it on the cart and quit for the night. Even despite 2 major breakdowns, we gotta look at the positives here. Those beans, I think, were better than we were expecting that field to average from what we can tell so far, just based on how poorly it looked all season with tremendous amounts of water damage. The beans in general right now in this close proximity are doing really well. It's productive soil minus the water issues. The up-offs next to us said their beans were really good, so I think that's a good vote of confidence for our fields here. We have some breakdowns, obviously. It's not exciting. It is what it is. We just got to deal with it, hopefully get it fixed first thing, and then have both machines running. Every time I say we're going to have a great big day, something horrible goes wrong or nothing works out. It happened this spring, multiple days where like, it's going to be a huge day. We're going to get 600 acres planted, then we lucky to have 50 acres planted at the end because the stars don't align and we have more misfortune than fortune. Ultimately, as long as everyone gets home safe and sound, no injuries, that's a victory. Except I'm gonna have a very stern conversation with this cat. I may consider bribery, half and half, whole milk, heavy cream. What do you give a cat to get its favors? Yeah, it's that time. Quitting time. You know what? We did accomplish something today, and that's better than accomplishing nothing, right? My favorite part of the day, obviously, was when my son Lenny came and rode. That was actually a pretty entertaining hour, other than the worst part of the day, slugging the combine and then throwing a shaft through the machine literally 30 minutes later. It is what it is. We've always got tomorrow, right? We need to have a talk. What did I do to deserve the day that we had? You tell me what you want in your food tomorrow. I'll make it happen if you get us a couple 100 acres cut. Wherever you're hiding the X9 voodoo doll, you put it away. I hate to leave you all with a cliffhanger, but I don't want to edit a 6-hour-long video if I have another video tomorrow, so I'm pulling the plug on video operations for the day. Hope to catch you in the next episode and appreciate you all tuning in. Peace!